You know, I really want to try and be calm doing this review. I've already redone this now 3 times because within a minute and a half, I just wanted to rant. So I'm just going to say this. This show was so bad, there are no words. And I have to say it in this respect. I know there are several reviewers that are going to say this was bad, and more people are going to say this was a great show. But I'm seeing it like this. It's not about the predictions, because almost everybody's prediction who are relevant in the wrestling community on YouTube have been wrong. They went against every prediction that could have helped them. And that's the thing that gets me. It's not that the predictions had to be exactly the way the reviewers have it. Because you can have a swerve. You can have a change. In this situation, they needed to be predictable because they needed to set up SmackDown for Fox. Because once SmackDown is gone, you're going to have only NXT and Raw on USA. And they needed to set things up that would help Raw and help NXT. Because there's a good possibility several Raw guys and SmackDown guys will go to NXT eventually. And they needed to put things in place, need to set things up. So at least to a certain extent, it would make sense. And nothing was done. This show did nothing to help Raw, SmackDown, or NXT. And I know people are going to say, well, it never does help NXT. But it's going on TV in a couple of days. And they needed it. They needed something to phase into NXT. They needed it. Because I'm sure a few Raw or SmackDown stars are going to go to NXT. And they needed this. And it's ridiculously stupid. Let's move on. Let's start because this is 2 minutes. Alright. Kickoff show. They only had 2 matches. Cruiserweight title. And I'm not even going to talk about the match. I didn't expect Gulag to lose here. He won. I didn't expect it. Didn't expect any change because we know 205 Live is getting phased out in the next couple of weeks or a couple of months. It's going to be transitioning into NXT. There you go. You got AJ, who I do not understand why Cedric Alexander and AJ Styles had to be on the kickoff show. You couldn't put the women's tag team titles on the kickoff. You couldn't do it. That is just sad. So you get this match, which wasn't 100% bad. AJ sent the Good Brothers to the back, and they had a decent match. But in the end, AJ retained his title, as I expected. I didn't expect him to lose it. I didn't expect Cedric to win, because they don't sponsor Cedric much. This should have been something for Ali. This could have been an Ali match. But like I said months ago, they do nothing with Ali. They don't care about Ali. All those vignettes led nowhere. All the vignettes led nowhere. That's the reason why Cedric is there. And it can't be because Ali's hurt. He's just not there. Opening the Raw tag team titles with, oh my goodness, Braun Strowman and Seth Rollins versus Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode. I'm not calling him Robert. He's Bobby. Hey, Bobby. You won your match. You won your title. What does this actually give you? Nothing. Nothing. They should have won this title a while ago. Or better yet, why wouldn't they use Heavy Machinery? Why wouldn't they use the War Raiders? I'm not calling the Viking Raiders. They're the War Raiders as far as I'm concerned. Why couldn't you allow them to do this instead of having this stupid Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman situation? Because at the end of the show, and I'm getting to the end, which was only one part of it, well, let me explain it at the end of this review. But in the end, they win. I'm only going to say it like that. You get them, they win, that's it. Now the question is going to be, are they going to use Dolph and Robert Roode? Are the War Raiders going to have their moment? I don't expect Heavy Machinery because they're on SmackDown. But the War Raiders are on Raw. They should be doing something. And I'm not even saying that it's going to be great with the War Raiders because they're making them beat jobbers. You got several teams on Raw and at least 2 teams more. Do something, please. What happened to the Authors of Pain? Oh, this show really got me angry. Next, the SmackDown Women's title. Charlotte versus Bayley. Now, I'm going to be honest here. I didn't really care about this match because I knew 100% this was not going to lead anywhere. If Charlotte won the title, and I know there's a lot of Charlotte fans, I'm going to be honest to you. I've said it already about how she works in the ring, but I'm going to be honest to you here. I don't hate Charlotte. I don't like that she is acting like her father, and I don't like that the company, because she is Ric Flair's daughter, is going to be pushed in the position, and the only people she can work with are the people she knows incredibly well, because you don't see her working with Lana, you don't see her working with Naomi, you don't see, I know people don't like Tamina, but you got to mention her, Tamina. You don't see her work with Liv Morgan, Sarah Logan. I know Ruby Riot's not back, but when she comes back, why don't you let her work with her so she can get used to her and not have to let a Ruby Riott have to cover her ass every time she's in the damn ring, because she doesn't work well with people she doesn't know. But that is how I feel about her, as they have booked her as a good wrestler, getting really high spots when she's not that good because of her name, because of her daddy. Yeah, her daddy is suing the WWE because of the man thing, but still, she's still being booked very well. But I didn't expect her. I'll put it in this respect. I don't hate her, but I do believe she could be treated better. Particularly if she is put into a world title picture and wins, she needs competition. And there is none. So when I saw Bayley, she's a plot device, as I said. When I saw Charlotte, she's going to eventually win the title. It's going to happen. There will be a 10th reign. But the problem is there's no one to work with. You only got Sasha, Becky, Bayley, and Ronda Rousey when she comes back. That's 4 women. So when you saw this match, this wasn't the point if it was a good match or not. I knew it was a lose-lose situation for both of these women, because Bayley wasn't going to be sponsored much because they don't care about her on SmackDown. And Charlotte's not going to gain anything because even when she wins the title, she has no real credible threat other than Bayley, and she's going to beat her a whole bunch of times. Sasha, who's working with Becky, and Becky, who's going to work with Sasha. That's it. Unless maybe a Ruby Riott came back, which she's not cleared yet as far as I know. Or a Ronda Rousey, who, as far as I understand, she hurt her finger really bad and she wanted a baby. So she's going to be out still quite a long time more. So in the end, Charlotte loses. And I'm sure people are going to say, I can't believe they let Charlotte lose. Well, guess what? It didn't make a difference if she won or lost. She gains nothing. Next, you got the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And you have the Revival versus New Day. Now, here's the thing. It was a good thing they kept Xavier and Big E off TV. It's actually a good thing because they kept it with the storyline going with Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston. And I will get to them eventually, and how I feel about the feud and where they messed up a little bit, but still, it was okay. But I'll explain it. This was a good match, but really didn't give anything special. Particularly, and this is the thing that gets me. If I remember correctly, the Revival's on Raw. They're on freaking Raw. Why are they being given this opportunity for the SmackDown titles and then win the titles flat out, beating Xavier Woods, messing up his knee more than what happened during the fight that he had with Randy Orton and the Revival when they messed up his knee? He jobs because Big E got taken out by, I forgot the name of their signature move because I don't watch them often. Signature Machine, I believe. I can't remember. But in the end, they did win. But what does that mean? What the hell does that mean? You now have Raw Tag Team winning the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. And I know people are going to say, well, they're going to be transferred over during the shakeup. They shouldn't even be on there right now at all. Because of the stupid wildcard rule, everything is so badly convoluted. Yes, it's obvious they're going to get rid of the wildcard rule and they're going to transfer them over and the Raw and SmackDown titles will switch. They're gonna switch the guys. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler are gonna go to Raw, and they're gonna go to SmackDown. It's gonna happen. I mean, they're already on Raw with Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler. You know what I mean? It's so convoluted. It's annoying. Next, the women's tag team title match of Fire and Desire versus Twisted Bliss. And this should have been on the kickoff show. Let me get this straight. Instead of giving AJ Styles and Cedric Alexander time, because they were at the very end of the kickoff show, I say about 12 to 13 minutes before the kickoff show ended, that is when they were given their damn match, and they had to rush it. And they could have been given this position. They could have been given this position, but no. They put the Raw tag team titles there. No, not the Raw, the women's tag team titles. You see, I don't care about them that much because it doesn't mean anything. And here's the kicker. Fire and Desire should have won, because you get a lot more out of a... Look, I know when it comes to this situation with Fire and Desire, when it comes to Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville, they're not incredibly great in the ring, but they're not bad. They have charisma, they have ability in the ring, better than Alexa Bliss. And I'm not saying anything against, well, I like Nikki Cross coming out in her old music pisses me off to no end. She should be using Alexa's music. And this is the thing I don't like about Twisted Bliss. You stick these two together, which means nothing. Nothing. And you're only doing it for Alexa Bliss. I'm not hating Alexa. I'm not. I actually kind of admire her for having, I believe she has anorexia or bulimia. I think one of the two. And she fought it off. And if she got her breast implants for confidence, fine. Of course, she probably also got it because they want her to have bigger titties. Forgive my language, but this is the truth. So it's a two-win-win situation for her. So I do respect her. But seeing this situation where she should be a manager and periodically wrestling, and she gets this stupid titles, which should already be retired, and they're sticking it on her with Nikki Cross, who looks stupid in her character and should be on the kickoff show, and they leave her here, it pisses me off. This made no sense. It was dumb. IC title match. Shinsuke Nakamura. Oh, sorry. I said, oh, sorry. You see, I'm a very nice guy. I'll even say sorry to my damn camera. I said sorry. I should be living in Canada because I'll say sorry to anything. I've done that actually. But anyway, you got the IC title match of Shinsuke Nakamura versus the Miz just sucks. I want him as a heel. He's way better as a heel. He's dull as a face. And you got in tow a Sami Zayn. Now, I expected The Miz to win because of his reality show. And I didn't expect him to keep the title on Shinsuke Nakamura. They decided to keep the title on Shinsuke. Pleasantly surprised. I'm actually happy about this because if you allow Sami Zayn to continue being the mouthpiece of Shinsuke, I guess the reason I botch is due to the fact I just don't know if they're going to keep pushing Shinsuke and Sami Zayn. Because just because they allowed him to keep the title does not mean they're going to keep him on TV. And I'm hoping they'll do something with them because with Sami there for Shinsuke, it actually works. He needs a mouthpiece. It's not the fact that he needs someone to talk Japanese for him. He just needs someone to help him get over because they're not giving him anything to work with. And this makes sense. It's a good call. One of the few that's in this entire show. And I'm being honest. Everything was just plain ordinary. And this is one of the good ones. Next. The Raw Women's title. You know what? I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. I'm not going to do Sasha and Becky yet. No, I'm moving on. I'm going to move on. Let's see here. I want to make sure I get this right. The SmackDown Men's World title, WWE title, not World title, the WWE title. Kofi Kingston versus Randy Orton. I was very worried at one point because of how, when we saw on Tuesday Kofi Kingston diving off the retaining wall and basically lands on Randy Orton's legs. It looked like he might have hurt him. That got me worried. What got me even more upset was that they were repeating the same thing they did 10 years ago. And I said this in my review, well, not review, but basically my Smack of SmackDown. I may have to change the name of that a little bit. Andre did say, hey, you usually are more creative with your titles. I'll try to be more creative with the Smack of SmackDown, say something extra. Sorry about that. It just felt wrong to show. But when they repeated what they had done 10 years before, it just was wrong. It was a waste of time. Now, you see this match. It was not a waste of time. It was a damn good match. I did enjoy it. There was a lot of botchiness from Kofi. There's no way to hide it. Kofi was botchy. But here's the thing. Seeing Kofi win does bring everything full circle. Does not mean the feud is over, but it does bring everything full circle for Randy Orton and Kofi Kingston. As I said in my debate of the week about Randy and Kofi coming full circle, this is a chance to kind of make up for what happened roughly about 10 or 11 years ago for Kofi when it came to Randy, and he legitimately messed him up. He messed up his push. We know this. It's the truth. But here's the thing. As I'm glad this has been done, I do believe that even though I'm glad this happened, Randy Orton needed to lose. I mean, not lose, but win. And the reason I botched this is because I'm kind of torn. I don't want Randy Orton to win when I was seeing this match. But I knew he needed to win because honestly, at this point, Kofi needs more competition. Because he went through Dolph. He went through, who else did he go through? He went through Dolph. He went through Kevin Owens. Where did he gain anything working with these two guys where they were so weak? Made his title reign very mediocre. And only when Randy Orton came in did it actually pick up. And so I was torn. Because as it stands right now, Kofi really does, he does need to drop it. He needs to drop the damn strap. He needs to drop the strap for the simple reason that he has no competition other than Randy Orton. He does. It's not going to be Samoa Joe that's going to be better for him, because even though he went up against Samoa Joe, he was so weak, just like Kevin Owens was and Dolph Ziggler was. Where did he gain anything from those three guys before Randy Orton? Nothing. So I really believe that since Revival now had the titles for the SmackDown titles, and if Randy Orton got the WWE title, it would actually make sense for all three of New Day have to really struggle. Because when is the last time you've seen New Day struggle other than dealing with the Wyatt family? That was it. 3-on-3. That was the only time they ever had a real struggle. You can't really say that with the Usos. That was just actual straight up wrestling, with the story being wrestling, seeing who was the damn best between the two. In this situation, they need a story, particularly going on Fox. And this is what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't understand what I've been saying about this entire pay-per-view, this pay-per-view didn't set anything up for Fox, and it didn't help anything for USA, for Raw or SmackDown, and particularly NXT is going to get people from both the shows, and they needed something going into them, and that was nothing. Kofi wins, and I may actually do a video on how long I think Kofi may retain that title. I'm not sure. Tell me if you want to see it. I am considering it. The Street Profits had their moment with Booker T, and I can't stand the Street Profits. They're in my face with Booker T. The only thing that saved that segment with was Booker T. It was horrid. I couldn't stand it. I couldn't take it. It is beyond stupid what they're doing with the Street Profits. Because I had seen them a little bit before I stopped watching NXT. They seemed to be something. They were still green, but it seemed to be something with them. And now look at them. Their reputation getting destroyed because of this stupidness. I just hope they will go back to NXT when they are on Wednesday. Forgot almost the 16th was Wednesday. You see how this show really got me. Now, we have Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan. The weakest match that I was thinking of. I mean, I know Alexa Bliss and Twisted Bliss versus Fire and Desire was damn weak. And I was upset about it. And I think it was the weakest. But when I was watching this match, it was the weakest I thought was on the damn show. And it is the weakest match on the show. And it's not the work. Understand, I'm not against Eric Rowan. And as much as people can't stand a Roman Reigns, I'm not against Roman. In fact, he was beginning to get somewhere with this storyline. It is infuriating to see they had a chance to do something with the storyline that a lot of people was liking. They were actually interested in Roman Reigns in this situation. Maybe dealing with, heck, you seeing him go up against Daniel Bryan, setting it up for Daniel Bryan, made sense. And they went straight off of that and put Eric Rowan on it. A guy that clearly they have not built up at all. And they stuck him in the situation, even if Paul Heyman's interested in him. Or Eric Bischoff, counting if he's even doing creative. Because I hear so many people say, well, Eric is trying to get creative. We don't know if he's running creative. And I'm being honest here. We've heard that he's working on SmackDown, but it's not as many people think. There have been more than a few statements that he's not running creative. And hearing people say that he's straightening out creative. If he's straightening out creative, how come Vince McMahon is rewriting SmackDown within 30 minutes of the show? And it's happened now, not once, not twice. As far as I've heard, 4 times already. 4 times he has rewritten SmackDown before the show aired, within a few hours or less than an hour. And he was writing it while the show was going on. So hearing that, get your facts straight. But seeing this, and let me paint you a picture. You have this good beginning of a storyline of seeing a Roman Reigns almost getting squished. And you wonder who it is. You're bringing in Buddy Murphy, someone that had not been seen for months. And finally, he gets his moment. Then you do something with him. And now he's gone. Then you wonder if anything's going to happen with Ali. Because he was somewhat given a little bit of relevance in this situation as well. Because he was working with Eric Rowan. He was working with Daniel Bryan. He gets nowhere. Then you bring in some guy that might be working in the Performance Center. Then you find that Eric Rowan is the one who causes this. And then you have a no DQ match with both these guys where they were trying to kill themselves to get it over. And I'm not blaming Eric. He didn't write this shit. And I'm not blaming Roman. He didn't write this shit. This was so freaking stupid, particularly at the ending, that now you bring in Luke Harper to help Eric Rowan to destroy Roman Reigns. To do what? To set up a match between Luke and Eric, possibly bringing back the Bludgeon Brothers, versus a Roman Reigns and a Daniel Bryan. I want to say that again. Luke Harper is now back because he comes in and nails, and I don't have the picture, it comes in and nails Roman Reigns. You could have a Bludgeon Brothers reunion, or just Luke and Eric. And now, just to make it interesting, there's a good possibility they're going to have Roman Reigns team up with Daniel Bryan to face them. And you set all this up for a possible tag team match on SmackDown Live. You see the guys in my face, the Bludgeon Brothers, possibly united, in my face. This was stupid. This was freaking stupid. I'm taking a... Tom, I am taking a Randy Orton line. Stupid, stupid, stupid. He's in my face. Stupid. I cannot believe that you had a working storyline with Roman Reigns that people were beginning to get behind. They were getting behind it slowly, but they were getting behind it. People who were always against the character was finally turning a corner. And now you do this. let's move on. Let's move on to the last match of the night because I'm saving Becky and Sasha last. You now have Seth Rollins versus Braun Strowman in a good match. It wasn't an incredibly great match, but it was a good one. I had no problem with the match. It was good. It was okay. I was fine with it. But where did it lead? Because I knew they weren't going to make Seth job. There was just no way they're going to make him do it. There was no way. They weren't going to do it. And I was right. In the end, Seth did not lose. He had to give. Understand, I had to write it down. He gave 3 flying knees to a Braun Strowman. He gave 4 curb stomps. He even had to give a damn pedigree to nail this bastard to the floor so he can pin him. And I know Braun Strowman is not one of the greatest in the ring. He's just not. But he worked his ass off to try and make Seth Rollins look good. And where does it lead? To the only good thing in this show, other than Shinsuke Nakamura managing to retain his title. And that is Bray Wyatt coming out, giving his sister Abigail to a Seth Rollins, and then, and I have to admit, I wasn't fond of the sister Abigail. I didn't think it was really necessary. He could have done I thought he was doing the mandible claw. I thought he was going to do that. He didn't. He did it second, which I approved of, but I really don't think he should have used his sister Abigail. But here's the thing. And even though this is good, and I know people are going to say, well, this is leading to Hell in a Cell. This is going to Hell in a Cell. I'm going to say this again to anyone who loves Bray Wyatt, The Fiend. Don't 100% doubt the WWE will screw this up. I'm saying it now, again. Do not doubt the WWE screwing this up. Because as much as the Firefly Funhouse, and I finally got that out right, is great, does not translate to wins in the ring. If he does not win, this means nothing. So if they are booking him to Hell in a Cell, he better win. Because if he doesn't win, if there's some type of screwy ending and he doesn't win, this was a big piece of shit. And I will rant and shit on it from now on. No matter how much people love Bray Wyatt, I will shit on it. So they better have him win that damn title. Now, the final match of the night. If I'm forgetting anything else, I'm sorry. Oh wait. I almost did forget. Unless it's something else. Let me say this. There was only one redeeming quality of the women's tag team match. For the women's tag team championship. The 24/7 title had its moment. And people cheered it more than the damn match. I'm just saying. Now, the match that solidified how damn bad this show was. Sasha versus Becky for the Raw Women's title. And I know people can say this was an amazing match. It doesn't matter about how amazing the match was. It doesn't matter that, and understand, it wasn't a bad match. I wish it had stayed just a match. Because I know people can say, well, putting them out there into the arena was great. Really? You can justify them going out to the ring, seeing how the ending happened with Sasha. And I know people are going to try and justify it saying, well, this is great because Sasha gets another chance at the damn title at maybe Hell in a Cell. She's in my face. Look at this woman. Look at this woman that's in my damn face. This did not help her. I don't care if she signed off on this shit. I don't care. What did she actually gain? She needed to win the damn match. This was her first real match back. And this was an important moment. She needed to win. And she did not win. She won with a stupid, screwy ending due to the fact that Becky, either purposely or inadvertently, I know I couldn't see that moment because I had to go to the bathroom. I had to. I needed to go. I've been waiting almost 3 hours since I've been watching at 6. So I had to go and take a piss. So I missed the moment when she hit the ref in the face. I'll go and see if I can catch it later in a replay, but I missed it. So I don't know if she hit him on purpose or accidentally. It doesn't matter. He was laid the hell out for the majority of that match. while they were still running around in the arena, came back. Becky gets a chair, whacks Sasha in the back multiple times, tries to break her arm. Then the other refs come out with an official, with somebody else, and they DQ the match. They did DQ, did they? Yes, they DQ'd the match. They DQ'd it. But in the end, Becky wins. She retains. Done. What was the point of this situation, bringing Sasha back and then making her lose this way? And you cannot tell me, how can you justify this woman who's been away for almost 5 months, nearing 6, 5 or 6 months, I can't remember, and she came back. Everyone knows how disgruntled she was. And they expected, well, this is the best way for her. This is the best way to get her something. Let her have the title, particularly that Becky has no challengers. But you do a screwy ending. And instead of letting Becky be the one that's going to chase someone for a little while, because she needs it. She has no one. She doesn't have Ronda Rousey there. The only person she has is now Sasha. Bayley is going to be working with Charlotte, or unless they're going to switch sides. And then Sasha's going to be working with, guess who? Charlotte on SmackDown, unless Charlotte is going to switch to SmackDown, from SmackDown to Raw. You never know. But this made no sense. This solidifies how bad this show was. But I have no words. This was so bad. With only 2 redeeming qualities. One, Shinsuke gets to keep his title, and hopefully him and Sami Zayn will get somewhere. And pretty much, maybe you get the Fiend getting a moment at the Hell in a Cell, and hopefully he'll win. If WWE doesn't screw it up like they did this entire show. This show is trash. Such bad trash. It's not even a freaking B-movie, which it's so damn bad. Such a bad B-movie. It's so damn bad, it's good. This doesn't even come close. So I know anyone else is going to say, well, I'm wrong. Fine, I understand. Just tell me below why I'm wrong. I know you're going to tell me, you're going to bash me. I understand. Just say what you got to say. Hope you enjoyed this review. Have a good day. Have a good night. Peace!